Max, how do you feel about getting old?
You're not old. You look great.
No, I'm asking you, how do you feel about getting old? I mean, doesn't it bother you?
It's not really something I think about.
Really?
Oh, I guess I got a little sensitive about my hair a few years ago. It started falling out, so, I did something about it.
How'd you feel about that?
I feel fine with it. Otherwise, I wouldn't have done it. I did it to feel better about myself, and, I do. I look in the mirror, looks like me.
Yeah, but it's different for men.
I can't really feel too sorry for you in this department. I'd bet that except for possibly an afro, you look exactly the way you did at 29.
Well, my ass ain't the same.
Bigger?
Yeah.
Ain't nothing wrong with that.
Hello everyone, this is PKL Entertainment and we're back again, and here now we have another video for you in our Unrated Underappreciated movie series, and in this edition we will focus on Quentin Tarantino's crime drama Jackie Brown. Released in December the 25th, 1997, it stars Pam Grier, Samuel L. Jackson, Robert De Niro, Bridget Fonda, Michael Keaton and Robert Forster, and of course it was directed by Quentin Tarantino. Now the story of Jackie Brown is that we are in a present day setting where we follow African American flight attendant Jackie Brown, who gets caught by the police trying to smuggle money through an airport for gun dealer Ordell Robbie. The police also find a cocaine stash within the bags, and as a result Jackie gets sent to jail. Worried that Jackie might talk to the police, Ordell arranges for her bail so that he can kill her. But Jackie proves to be resourceful, anticipating Ordell's arrival. She manages to convince him to spare her so that she can help him reclaim his money by tricking the police into believing she's also helping him into arresting Ordell. Over the course of the story, various characters assist to help Jackie carry out her plan, all of whom have their own agendas and motivations. Tensions continue to rise as the money exchange plan is set up, and we wonder as to whether Jackie can pull off her plan successfully without getting arrested again by the police or getting murdered by Ordell. Now for me, I simply love Jackie Brown. It's a very classy, slick, entertaining movie. Admittedly, it doesn't start off well when we begin the story with Ordell executing one of his delivery couriers when he fears that he will rat him out, but once the film settles down into setting up the money exchange, it really becomes such an effortlessly watchable movie. It's very easy to follow despite many twists and turns, but it just is one of those films that you can just sit back and enjoy. There's no heavy-handedness, no elaborate editing or flashbacks or over exposition. It just has this cool and relaxed tone that makes it so much watchable. Now Jackie Brown was the third film of Quentin Tarantino's career, who without question was emerging as one of the most famous and notorious directors within the industry at the time, and I can vividly remember as a young teenager in the 1990s, at the time of Jackie Brown's release, the levels of hype around Tarantino was really stratospheric. Of course, this was coming off Reservoir Dogs and Pulp Fiction, two crime films that were truly seen as groundbreaking because of their high pace and extreme violence and quotable lines and dialogue. Tarantino was very much seen as the next influential director, coming from an indie art house background and managing to achieve mainstream success. Now amongst his filmography, Jackie Brown gets mentioned the least, and I can remember the reactions at the time stating that Jackie Brown was very much lackluster in action. Where was the violence? It was too slow paced. There was none of the quotable lines or memorable scenes that we saw from the previous work of Tarantino. It was too boring. It was too much of a slow burn, and that was very much of a step down from Tarantino's previous work. It just wasn't what people were expecting after the cultural impact of Pulp Fiction. But the fact is, and many people don't want to admit this, but Jackie Brown easily remains Tarantino's best movie, still to this day. Why is that? Because it's unlike a Tarantino movie. It doesn't have the excess, the prolonged scenes, the aimless storytelling, all the narrative gimmicks, all of the flippant tone. It's completely free of what I would deem to be substantial flaws within Tarantino's movie making. It's easily his most composed and, dare I say, most mature movie, perhaps the only time that he's really had truly textured and developed characters. And in terms of characters, they're all very well portrayed by a high caliber cast of actors who are all truly great within their roles. In the lead role, Pam Grier is fantastic as Jackie Brown. She's very tough, charismatic, resolute, very beautiful and sexy, but overall still likeable. The movie very much lends its tone to her earlier career as a star in the 70s blaxploitation movies, and she's a very great movie presence throughout this particular story. Samuel L. Jackson provides his normal influence and imposing nature in what is a welcomed and far more restrained role. Again, like Jackie Brown, he has that very much of that likability about him. Despite being the antagonist of the show, he's not really a villainous character. We only see really moments of evilness, maybe at the beginning of the film and towards the end, but for the most part he's very relaxed and very charismatic as well. And I think this role really shows far more depths in terms of the acting of Samuel L. Jackson. We normally associate him as, of course, the very fiery and sweary, shouty personality, and it's roles like this that really make you understand on how great an actor he truly is. Another key performance is from Robert Forster as Max Cherry, the bail bondsman who carries out Jackie's release from jail, and this is where the film achieves a great character relationship between Jackie and Max. The dynamic between these two characters is played very well, it's very intimate, it's very mature, and it's completely believable. And it's this type of interaction that sadly Tarantino hasn't been able to achieve post the movies since this film. Michael Keaton also adds some class as the police lieutenant Ray, determined to bring down Ordell. Robert De Niro too adds some value as Ordell's partner Lewis. In very similar to Jackson is another very low-key, restrained, very self-depreciating role for De Niro, again showing his versatility and playing a role that is very much against type when we look at the classic performances throughout his career. Bridget Fonda too has a smaller role as Ordell's very sexy blonde surfer girl Melanie, who spends the majority of her time lounging around in Ordell's house in her tight bikini top and jean shorts. She eventually tries to turn Lewis against Ordell and steal the money for themselves. And she too has a great chemistry, primarily with both Samuel L. Jackson and also Robert De Niro. Now, as usual with all of Tarantino's films, we get a truly great soundtrack, this time full of retro jazz and blues and soul, consisting of the likes of Bill Withers and the Delphonics, and the music just helps add to the film's watchability, and it really helps to keep you invested in the film when there's nothing particularly explosive or spectacular going on. So if I had to give an overall score for Jackie Brown, I would give it an 8.2 out of 10. So when we go on to the overall release of Jackie Brown, and on a budget of 12 million, it managed to gross 74.7 million at the box office. So yes, it was a financial success when we look at its budget, and it was very well critically received, but of course it didn't generate anywhere near the sensational hype and impact previously as what we saw with Pulp Fiction. Now this is primarily because Jackie Brown is very much the antithesis of Pulp Fiction in many ways, as I explained before, and that's for me why it's the better movie. Now after its perceived underperformance, Tarantino would very much go back to his typical hyperkinetic style with the likes of Kill Bill and Inglourious Bastards. Whilst those films may have made more money, they're still very much inferior movies to Jackie Brown overall, which I still reiterate again remains Tarantino's best film, no doubt about it. It's the one where he has far more likeable characters, far more depth and layered characters, and in many ways is an example of how actually a filmmaker can make a better movie when it actually come out of their comfort zone. So I'm more than happy to debate with many others throughout this film, but I still think it is definitely Tarantino's best work. And when I look at the overall trajectory of his work post its release, particularly in the last 5 years or so, when we look at the likes of Once Upon a Time in Hollywood and Django Unchained and also The Hateful Eight, I really doubt that Tarantino can really get back to this type of maturity in terms of his storytelling and also his characterization, which I think is a shame overall, because as I said before, I truly believe that Jackie Brown is a classy work from the director, and it definitely deserves far more appreciation and credit post its release overall. So those are my overall thoughts and feelings and review on Jackie Brown. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Are you like me? Do you think it is overall his best movie? Or if you don't believe it's his best movie, let me know in the comments why you don't believe it is. Which films do you believe are superior to Jackie Brown? And let me know in the comments below as to the reasons why, and then we can have further discussion and debate as well. If you have any other films that you'd like to see me review that are similar to Jackie Brown or in general, then also let me know within the comments, and if I've seen the movie, then I'll provide some commentary on the film as well. Please also hit and like the subscription and notification buttons so I can provide you with more high quality content like this in the future. But that's it for now. Take care of yourselves, stay in safe distances, and I will see you very, very soon.